everyone. Welcome to another episode of BFF, a show where two best friends review movies because fan friction. We're your hosts. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Joe.
And this is the mid-season finale of our show because we've just had the mid-season finale of Fan Friction.
Yep. It was, I believe, action-oriented, action-themed.
Yes, because our special guests were from a podcast, the Action Movie Anatomy Podcast.
Yep, great guys.
Very fun episode.
Mm-hmm.
And we really weren't sure what to review for this episode, so we put up a poll for you guys to respond to. And the choices were The Raid, Edge of Tomorrow, and Aliens.
Aliens won it out pretty well. Edge of Tomorrow came close.
And so before we started recording this, we went ahead and watched the first Alien because I had never seen it.
And it had been close to 20 years since I'd seen it.
Yes, and I thought it was a very enjoyable movie, and my favorite character was Jones the cat.
Every time she was just like, oh, is the cat going to make it?
I didn't want him to die. You know, who cares about the human characters?
Well, the crew was expendable.
Exactly, they said it in the movie. They were expendable, and then Jones is just sitting there like a chill dude watching people get obliterated by the alien.
Yeah, because, you know, cats, they're cold.
Yes.
So,
I'm hoping Jones is in the sequel.
We'll see. It's also been, like, forever since I've seen the second one, so...
Yeah, and this one came out in the,
Mid to late 80s.
Mid to late 80s versus the late 70s for Aliens, so if Jones is in it, it'll be a different Jones, probably. A different cat.
It's probable, yeah.
But anyway, I'm really hoping he makes it back.
Or at least honorable mention.
Honorable mention, yeah. Some kind of like in memory of Jones who watched Dallas get maimed.
The only thing I can go into this saying that I'm 100% sure of, because like I said, it's been like 20 years since I've seen it, so I don't remember most of what I saw, other than the pop culture phenomenons like Game Over Man, Game Over, Stay Frosty Marines, and Get Away From Her, You Bleep. The power loader, things like that.
So that's the yellow thing, right? I remember you had that toy.
They
played
also,
with it,
They also had it. That's what Troy and Abed were doing in the Community episode.
Yeah, like I know, like I've always been aware of Xenomorphs. I didn't know that's what they were called until probably like a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But like aliens are everywhere. Like there's little nods to them and all sorts of other popular culture. There's even kind of like a little nod to them in Ninja Turtles in the original cartoon Case of the Killer Pizzas, those aliens.
The weird creatures that hatch from the eggs that look like meatballs.
Yes.
The other thing I was going to say I know is that this movie is tonally very different from the first one. It's
that's
still
what I had heard.
Scary, but this movie is more of an action movie, as where the original Alien is like your traditional monster horror.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah,
and the other thing that I was going to mention was the Spaceballs scene where it busts out of his chest that's where this comes from. Like I knew it was from Alien.
Yep.
But I didn't know it was the first one.
That's why I love the "Oh, Not Again."
Yes, because it was actually him
John
in that
Hurt,
scene, and then he starts singing the little song. I kind of wanted him to start singing a little song.
Yep.
That's me.
There's a pretty great cast in the second one I know of too. Lance Henriksen.
Yes.
Which we know very well from one of the Hellraiser movies. One of the worst helmet. One of them. It's the Hell World one.
Oh, the video game, the MMO one.
Yeah.
Yes. And then Paul Reiser's in
Paul Reiser, and then Bill Pullman. And of course Sigourney Weaver.
Of course, you have to have your final girl back.
But just in general, pretty big cast compared to the first one, which had like Tom Skerritt.
Yes, as
and
Dallas.
Ian Holm, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I can't
the
remember
robot
his last
guy?
name. Yeah. Android.
Ash.
The science officer.
Yeah, Science Officer Ash.
So
that was a really cool special effect. That's what I really noticed about the first one was just how great the practical effects look, and they, I thought they held up pretty well for today. But anyway, we've talked for way too long about the pre-show stuff, so let's go watch Aliens and see if
we'll be back.
Yeah, see how that movie is.
I'm sure it'll be good.
I know, I really like the first one, so I'm hoping I'll like this one.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we'll be back.
And we're back.
Oh man, I'm so glad that Jones was in the movie. I was so excited.
You had that sigh of relief moment. She's like, okay, he's fine.
Yay!
So yeah, it was a fun movie.
Yeah, it was so much fun, and I was really glad that they just kind of picked up where the last one left off, or at least seemingly so.
To Ripley.
Yeah, to Ripley, you know.
Very short period of time has passed.
Yeah, but to everybody else, it had been, what, they said 57 years?
57.
So yeah, waking up in a whole new world like Rip Van Winkle.
Yep. Pretty quickly. And then, you know, all this stuff is thrown at her, and she's having night terrors.
Yeah, definitely.
Understandably so.
Yeah, obviously suffering from PTSD. It would make total sense. She just witnessed the death of her entire crew.
Yeah, by a seemingly unstoppable force. It took ejecting it into space and then hitting it with a thruster from a spaceship to stop it.
Yes. And the fact that it was the company that basically said that you're all expendable. The only thing we care about is getting
this organism.
Yeah, we want samples. So anyway, so that's all kind of like, you know, the alien. Now we're transitioning to aliens,
which tonally is a massive shift.
And then also love the title, because there was just one, an alien, and now aliens, more than one. Several.
Yeah.
A total, a hive full of these creatures.
Which I never caught when I knew of these movies in the past, etc., that the planet they go back to is the planet where they first found them.
Yes, and it was very interesting to me that, like, when she hears what they've done with the place, and they're like so nonchalant about it, but of course they would be nonchalant. They didn't know anything had gone wrong there.
Yeah.
So it's not like in some other movies where it's like, I warned you not to put a colony there. It's like, well, they didn't know any better.
Yeah. Though you get the impression that the whole reason the place has gone offline is because they're aware of them now. Like it's not exactly, but it's kind of Ripley's fault's not even the right word, but it's the circumstances around Ripley getting found that caused this colony to fall apart.
Yeah, because it's probably like, hey, there's these things out there. Why don't you find some and we can study them?
Yeah, go check it out. Because, you know, when they get to the planet and they start checking out the med lab, they see the face huggers in tubes and all sorts of other stuff.
And then Paul Reiser as the company man is like out calling him.
Yep.
so smarmy. It's like, here's my card. Why don't you call me if you wanna?
If you change your mind.
If you change your mind about going to this
back to this terrible world.
Like, I hear that you're working in the loading dock. How's that working out for you?
Well, we could just clear your work for the company again on a starship, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And you had brought it up and was like, why would she want to do that?
Yeah, like, why would, this must be the only place to work in this timeline, because why would you keep working for the company that literally tried to,
that said you were expendable.
Yeah, that said you were expendable. Like, what? I would go get a new job somewhere else.
Yep. But yeah, it's a great movie. I enjoyed a lot of the characters. Bishop is my favorite.
Yes, he was pretty cool. And then I love how, like, when she sees him bleeding, and she's like, who is this dirty synth? And just, like, her racism coming out. And it's like, we prefer a different...
we prefer, was it artificial organisms or something like that?
Yeah, something like that, but... It would make sense for her to have a bad feeling about synthetic beings.
Because maybe a month ago, one just killed 2 members of her crew.
Exactly, and was not very helpful. So, yeah, she's got this, her intolerance of synthetic beings. And then by the end of the movie...
Bishop's the best.
Yes, and he saves them. And so it's like just when they're about to say, like, I totally don't hate synths anymore, he gets rammed with the queen.
The freaking queen's tail.
Just like hiding on the ship. Like, oh my god.
Well, if you think about it from the first one.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like, I could see that coming, but it still shocked me.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, you figure maybe you would have seen it before then. Like, as soon as they landed, it would have started crawling off.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it led to quite possibly some of the most iconic stuff.
Yes, that was definitely the stuff I was more familiar with. Ripley in the power loader taking down the queen alien.
Because her, So,
yes, and well, she had just killed all of her little children.
Yeah,
She
which
nuked the
that's
whole
something
place.
I never knew
She
because,
nuked the hive.
like I said previously, I think I had seen this movie once 20 years ago on television in a Saturday afternoon.
So they're probably heavily edited.
Well, not only that, but it's just like my memory is real fuzzy about all this stuff. So that's something I never remembered, that they did stumble upon the queen in the big nest of eggs and everything else. And Ripley threatened to torch the eggs, and the queen's like, "Whoa, boys, hold up, let her go."
Yeah.
Let her go. Yeah, it's
and
like,
then she's like, I'm going to do it anyway because y'all all deserve to die.
When she did, it's because one of the eggs started opening up. And I don't know. I don't know if it was the queen being like, "Get her," or if it was an egg reacting the way the egg's supposed to react. But Ripley was like,
human.
Okay. And the queen flipped out.
Well, yeah, I would flip out too. People were destroying everything I had worked so hard to create.
Yeah. The queen's smart enough to know how an elevator works when she's probably never used one before.
Yeah, they're very resilient creatures.
One might argue the queen is actually incredibly intelligent and everything else just functions on like lower level primate intelligence. So, but great.
Yeah, one of my, what are some of your favorite scenes?
I really love the introduction of all the Marines. Like, in a short period, more than the crew of the Nostromos, where they're just kind of like they're schlubby work people.
Yeah.
Like, these guys, I mean, they're dirty, they're scummy, they're very vulgar, but you love, like, every single one of them. And for different reasons. Like,
I like Vasquez the best.
Of course you do, because she's awesome.
Yeah, like, has anyone ever told you you look like a guy?
Has anyone ever confused you for a man?
Yeah.
Has anyone ever confused you for a man?
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah, like, you go, girl.
Oh, yeah.
She was pretty awesome.
Drake and Frost and, was it Hicks and Hutchins and, oh man, I can't remember his name. The leader of the unit started with an A. It doesn't matter.
Apon or something?
Apone or something like that. Yeah, the whole unit. I loved every single one of the Marines. And then
their like squad leader who's like, how many drops have you been on?
38 simulations.
2.
Including this one.
Like, why are you the leader?
Because he's probably company loyal.
Yeah.
And they know he's company loyal.
Yeah, and they send good old company man with them.
I love that once things start going awry and everything's terrible, the two that have their stuff together the most are Ripley and Newt. Everyone else is flipping out, freaking out.
I love Newt so much.
They're just both fantastic characters. She has another iconic line. They mostly come out at night. Mostly.
I know, when we saw Newt, I'm like, don't die, please don't die. Just like in the last one with Jones, it's like, please let the cat live. Please let the little girl live.
Right.
And because she had been hiding on her own, when he makes
weeks. I think it's like 7 weeks.
Yeah, when he had made the comment, it's like, we're not gonna last 17 hours, let alone like
17 days.
Yeah, 17 days waiting. It's like, well, she's been down here. Why don't you make her the commander?
Yeah. I like that, and it's a trope I love in movies, is the reluctant hero. I absolutely love it. And in the original Alien, Ripley's just kind of trying to survive. But in this one, it's like when stuff starts really going wrong, she takes over. And she's the one leading these people out, and she's not going to leave anyone behind, and all this other good stuff. I love that trope.
And she goes back for Newt. She
goes back for Newt and succeeds.
Yes, because, when especially she finds the little watch or whatever.
Oh, she gets so upset.
Yeah, because it's like, no, where's Newt? And then she finds her, like, being cocooned. And
she's already, like, attached to the wall, but there's an egg opening up near her, which is why Newt starts screaming, which is what leads Ripley to her.
Yes.
And Ripley kills the face hugger before it even comes out of the egg and alerts the other aliens because, reasons.
Yeah. Plot.
So, but it's so fantastic. I also, going back to when we're basically through action and dialogue back and forth, like, we're not having explanation, and it shows really good. Like, as much crap as I give James Cameron, really good use of dialogue for us to get to know a character. But through dialogue back and forth between some of the characters, you automatically get the idea who everyone is. Like, was it Hodgins or whatever his name is? is like the Joker of the group, and Vasquez and Drake have a thing, even though they banter angrily back and forth. They're closer than the rest of the group, and all that. It's the little things. It's tropes. They use tropes effectively, and they let us know, like, okay, these are Space Marines, not just because they're called Space Marines. It's not like Warhammer, where Space Marines are like Roman centurions in powered armor.
Mm-hmm.
They're called Space Marines, and they're actually Marines. Like, they're very Marine-like. They're vulgar, they're sweaty, they're gross, they talk back and forth, etc., etc. And going back to that, in that whole arc of characterization, when Ripley's like, I feel like a fifth wheel, how can I help?
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, how can I help? How can you help? And she's like, oh, I'll use the power loader, and starts moving stuff around. And even the commander's like,
yeah. Or at first, it kind of seemed like, oh, like, can you operate that?
Yeah. Well, it's not just that. They don't trust her. They think she's a fifth wheel.
Well, that, and, you know, her, when she's trying to talk to the troops, because it's kind of like, we're sorry we didn't brief you before we came on this mission. Here's what we're doing.
Yeah.
And she's trying to explain to them, like, what happened and what she saw. They're very dismissive of her. And then she kind of pops back at, I can't remember, she was the pilot. She has the aviator sunglasses. It's like, look, if you, like, just 2 days ago, like, basically, like, I saw my whole crew die.
Yeah.
Like, you need to step off. Like, do not mess with me. Like, I've seen what these things can do. You have no clue what we're stepping into.
Yep.
And everybody was very dismissive of Ripley. It's, you know, she wakes up from her stasis and having her, you know, PSTD nightmares, and, you know, they're all angry about, like, do you know how much money you cost us?
Oh, that board meeting.
Do you know how much? Like, you should not have done that. You were not authorized. It's like, I was just trying.
Your contract states that you're supposed to build. Whoa,
it's like, that. First of all, that was 57 years ago. You're worried about money we lost 57 years ago? Whoa.
If the company can survive 57 years after losing that freighter, then they obviously didn't need
they
that
were
freighter that
good.
much.
They were good. But yeah, and that's, you know, and now she can't get, like, a better job than working in, like, the loading dock, and her, you know, so it is. You know, she does get this opportunity, and it's definitely from someone who, like, I get the feeling you're supposed to be able to trust Paul Reiser's character.
Yeah.
And then when he makes that turn later where it's like, no, but it's all about the bottom line. Yeah. This is all about money. We need species. We need to weaponize these things. We need to bring them back. And
which it's fun. That's one of the theories of what they were to begin with, so...
And then when they're crying for help because the facehuggers are going after her and Newt in the lab, and she's waving in front of the
camera,
and he's just like,
click. I'm just gonna turn off that monitor.
It's like, what the heck? And then she's smart enough to set off the alarm because, you know, and she has no clue that that's what's happened. Like, she can kind of put two and two together, but she doesn't know that he turned off the monitor. Well, but
she puts it together pretty quickly because when she wakes up with Newt, that she sees that the container that was holding the live ones are on the floor.
Yes.
And if they hadn't fallen on the floor before, how are they going to fall on the floor now?
Exactly. And it wasn't anybody else on the team, and so then the whole team kind of turns against him naturally. So.
Yep.
But yeah, I thought I liked his character, but it was like, dude, no, don't be the company man.
Yep.
You need, like, I would have liked to have seen him, like, rise above that because I like Paul Reiser as an actor.
Maybe be self-sacrificing. But
you know. It was fine. They already had a lot of characters.
He worked for the company.
Yeah, he worked for the company. He died for that company.
He did. But it was, in general, it's a fantastic movie. Lots of great action.
Definitely one where the sequel surpasses the original, I think. And I'm sure other people online agree.
I'm sure there's tons, and I'm sure there's people that would say otherwise, and I'm sure there's people that say they're just as good. I'm kind of in the camp of they're just as good as each other. Mm-hmm. They're just fundamentally different movies.
Because they're different genres, where the first one is definitely more of a slow burn horror movie, as we like to say in the parlance of our times.
And you only see the alien every so often, and all sorts of other stuff. It is a traditional monster horror movie. Mm-hmm.
And this one is definitely more of to me, the movie that it reminded me of the most is Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because there were so many creatures.
Well,
and they would kind of come out of nowhere, and there was so few people, and things were like not working 100% at the facility.
Yeah, it's kind of a different scope of setup too, because like the first Alien is this horror movie because all they have are some cobbled together flamethrowers that are probably not meant for killing enemies or monsters or whatever. And they don't have any weapons on the ship because it's a mining ship.
Exactly, they
going
weren't
to well-established locations and all sorts of other stuff. And then Aliens has a Marine group going to this colony expecting to find something potentially terrible there. And so they're better equipped. But because they're better equipped, one alien isn't really a threat. It's when you have
the whole herd.
About 11,000 of them.
Yeah, the swarm.
Yeah, then it's a problem.
No, I just can't say enough good things about this movie. It was highly enjoyable. The special effects still hold up really well for when it came out.
I want to talk about the set dressing for a minute.
Okay.
All the layouts and set designs were good. The first one had a lot of really cool set designs, though there were some really weird, out of place things, like the room that was all coppery and looked like it belonged in some sort of Hellraiser-esque ritual thing.
Yeah.
And the room that I guess was full of mining equipment that had chains dangling from the ceiling eerily, again, felt like it was like Hellraiser in space.
And then the weird like white starkness that's kind of like
for the room that Mother was.
Yeah, 2001: A Space Odyssey. Yeah.
But then you turn around in Aliens and you have this massive colony. You have the surface of the planet that they're terraforming. You have the terraforming facility and all that other good stuff. But I realized something, and it's really dumb that it took me 20 plus years to realize it. I always thought that the alien aesthetic on buildings and things like that was purely so the viewer could be like, oh, look, the aliens are there. It's their hive. It's to make them feel more insectile. But it serves another purpose. If you think about it, like, they hide in that. So if the entire area of their hive area looks like them, then it's just camouflage.
Yeah. It's
area they can hide themselves in incredibly effectively. And again, the nightmarish look of everything H.R. Geiger does just adds to that intensely. So when a hallway looks like a rib cage, it's terrifying.
Yes, very creepy aesthetic, and all the creature design was was great.
The queen was sufficiently intimidating.
And then when she like breaks off from her like
egg sac,
that was disgusting and painful.
Well, it was also disgusting when Ripley was shooting grenades into it, and I swear I saw like a yolk pop out of one.
Ew, gross.
That's disgusting.
Oh man,
so cool.
Yes.
It's really interesting to think that if you listen to what they talk about, what the aliens are made of in both the first one and the second one, that all those aliens are basically like their skeletal and exoskeletal structure is like resin, like some sort of bioorganic high tensile resin. So it's terrifying. You can see it because the queen alien's teeth are clear.
Yeah.
Ugh. So cool.
Oh, so disgusting. And
all right, so we should probably give this movie a score out of 10. Joe, what would you rate it?
I'm gonna go with a solid 9. There's some issues, but overall it's a fantastic movie. A lot of action, a lot of suspense, a lot of scary. It's important, turning a monster franchise into an action movie. So, Yeah,
I'm also going to go 9 out of 10 because I thought it was a fantastic sequel. It was really fun and just overall great movie. Plus Jones was in it. And Newt didn't die, so yay movie.
It's not just Newt didn't die. There's like more than Newt and Ripley didn't die. Bishop survived.
Kind of. They could rebuild him.
Make him better.
Make him stronger.
They have the technology.
They do.
But yeah, 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10 from both of us. Yep. We agreed.
Next we have the post-fan friction section.
Yeah, we really do need to go back and watch that part of the episode because I forgot all the things that happened. Alright guys, we're back. We just refreshed our memory over the last episode of Fan Friction for the mid-season.
Yep.
And we just want to again say special thanks to Ben and Andrew for agreeing to be on the show. If you guys haven't checked out Action Movie Anatomy, definitely check that out if you're real into action movies. It's definitely a podcast I know I'm going to look into as we're on this holiday season.
Oh yeah, definitely. We're children of the 80s, and action movies are kind of our second language.
Yeah. All right, so this was the last question of the show. Round 4, I spit on your grave. Action roles aren't just for the boys anymore. In the last 30 plus years, numerous women have taken on action roles to much success. We'd like to know who is the most BA female action character of all time. Emphasis on character.
Yeah, but which you'll know why we say that if you've watched the fan fiction.
Yes.
Which we also hope you've watched the fan fiction because...
It would be really weird if you're watching this and you're like, what's fan fiction?
Yeah, because we talked about it like every episode.
Every episode.
But Brian won with his choice of Sigourney Weaver as
Ellen Ripley
from the Aliens franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And he was up against...
Emily Blunt's character Rita, the Full Metal B-Word from Edge of Tomorrow.
And Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow from the Avengers Marvel Cinematic Universe thingy.
Wait, what? That's not what Andrew talked about.
That's true. That's just what he was going to do.
Yes, he instead chose Angelina Jolie from Tomb Raider because, as he said at the end of the round, he misinterpreted the question.
And went for the whole body of work.
Yeah, and which I think he would have had a really good argument if that were the question, like action female, you know,
she's
star.
done other stuff.
Yeah, but he's like, I'm just gonna stick with this, and he went for it.
Yeah. And though, to be fair, he probably would have had a way easier time arguing Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow.
Yeah, and
for action-y stuff.
And then Ben, his partner on their podcast, was really giving him a hard time. It's like, I tried to give you an out, man, and you didn't take it. He's like, I'm just gonna stick with what I went with.
Yep.
So, of course, our focus is on Aliens with Ellen Ripley.
Which of these three is the easiest choice?
Yeah.
Brian said it best. You haven't said one negative thing about Ripley.
Exactly. And what Andrew tried to say was that Laura Croft was more iconic. Like, everybody's heard of Laura Croft. And Brian was like, everyone's heard of Ellen Ripley. Like, my mom has heard of Ellen Ripley.
Even if you don't know her first name.
I've heard of Ellen Ripley before this.
If you hear the name Ripley, you know, like,
yes.
Oh, it's the main character from Aliens.
Yes, I'm pretty sure everybody knows who that is.
And if you don't, you know at least half of her lines because they're iconic and are used everywhere. And I mean, Archer has been influenced by her actions with Spacebot in one of the season finales when he wants to fight Barry in Spacebot. It's one of those things that this movie and her role in this movie is just iconic. I hate to keep using that terminology, but I don't know a better way to put it.
Really, I think Brian definitely had the strongest argument for...
the strongest character.
Yeah, definitely. The whole franchise of Aliens is built around Ripley, and that's exactly like what he started off with. He mentioned a lot of stuff from some of the other Alien franchise films as well about how she tried to save the team in the beginning of the film by following the protocols. Like, no, you can't bring him in here. Like, you're going to get us all infected. And had they listened to her,
she
people
still in the airlock might have been dead.
Yeah, but she was been a hero either way.
Yeah.
And how she had to, you know, try to like think and like overcome lots of different obstacles in the films.
Yep. How she grew as a character.
Yeah, because she, as Brian said, she doesn't start off as an action hero. She's very reluctant, but she definitely grows into that role, especially, as he mentioned, like, she really becomes that action character in Aliens when she goes back to save
even before then.
Newt and, like, her improvised flamethrower / I guess
pulse rifle.
Yeah, pulse rifle and
it's even before when she goes to save Newt where she's the hero. It's like when things start going awry, when that first team of Marines goes into the nest, she really starts taking control and command of the situation. Like the rest of the military people listen to her. And they're military professionals. They know what they're doing, but she is the one that takes control because she is a powerful presence and just in general an awesome character.
Yeah. I like what Brian had to say about Sigourney Weaver herself, like paving the way for other female action heroes in films and just kind of also setting the bar because she definitely didn't have a lot of the tropes that you might see in some modern female characters.
Oh, yeah.
She definitely, you know, that...
And I'm not normally a fan of using the first as the best argument. I think that's kind of a weak argument because we can always improve upon the original formula. But In this case, it's pretty accurate. She's one of the ones that we remember when we look back and go, this was an iconic female or a powerful female presence that made the way for the female action star.
And, you know, Sigourney Weaver is also an Oscar winner, and I like what Brian brought up about not only her character growth, as you also stated, but the fact that, you know, like, she faces adversity in her films, and just, like, the really awesome, like, final sequence in Aliens where she, like, uses the power loader to disarm the female alien queen and almost ends up killing herself in the process by opening the airlock to, you know, jettison her out into space.
Yep. That was an awesome scene.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
She's the glue that held those survivors together. And hey, she can walk away with her head held high at the end of the second one because it was more than just her and a cat.
Yes. And then at the end of the day, when they put the poll out like they do with every fan fiction, Brian had 100%. I know I voted for Ripley.
Yeah, Ripley. It's just hands down, Ripley's a better character.
Yeah, and well, nobody said anything negative about her until the very end when it was kind of like too little too late. But no, Ben and Andrew were awesome on the show.
Yeah.
It was a great episode. So glad to have those guys on there.
So next we're going to rank the question from this fan fiction. And I'm pretty... Or it's more like we rank the answer as opposed to the question. But I'm gonna put this at like a firm 9 out of 10 because I'm fairly certain there might be even more bad A female action characters, but none come to mind. Ripley's the one that stands out, so I'm gonna say at least a 9.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually go ahead and give Brian the 10 out of 10 for this because I can think of other awesome female action characters, but I can't think of anybody that really comes close.
So, our tough BFF mid-season question was, we want to know what alien would you like to see duke it out with a Xenomorph?
All right, we had a lot of great responses to this question. And
Jason Michael at @film faculty says Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy. That would be intense.
Yes.
Just two knives going at it, just tearing Xenomorphs apart. The acid blood might slow him down, though.
Yeah, maybe just a little, but yeah, definitely. I didn't know what to expect from the answers to this question, but everything.
I expected a lot of ETs and jokes from that. Yeah, like, oh, let's have ET go against the Xenomorphs. I'm like, come on, man.
Kimber Barrett at SJ Plus Junkie suggested the killer clowns from outer space. Yes.
I mean, they're kind of the same thing if you really break it down. They kidnap people and turn them into hosts to grow their
food source. Yeah. That's a very good one.
Raoul Rodriguez at Raoul well, we're going to put it on the screen. I'm not very good at reading. Says the aliens from ID4, and that feels like a no contest, except that the aliens, the Xenomorphs, would probably accidentally infect one of the aliens from ID4, and then we'd have psychic Xenomorphs, and that's not something we
do not want that.
That's the thing. You got to look at these possible alien threats and always break it down to like, hey, so what if the Xenomorphs got a hold of this? Would you really want them to deal with that? Not me.
No, we don't want that.
But assuming that they can keep themselves from being infected by the Xenomorphs, then yeah, they have motherships and laser weapons and can crack entire cities in half. So yeah, they probably wouldn't even have to fight the Xenomorphs, just like nuke them from orbit, which is what they should have done.
Big Picture Reviews at Big Pic Reviews suggested Luke Skywalker. Nothing scarier than a Tatooinean.
I mean,
technically, yeah, they are aliens.
They are aliens.
Planet.
They're humans, but they're not from Earth. So,
yeah. And he does have the lightsaber.
And the Force.
So, yeah, he would probably fare pretty well.
One might think. I mean, he took down a Rancor with a bone.
Yeah. He definitely could handle that, I think.
Eric Monroe at MMKOCH200 said Alf. There's the answers I was looking for.
Oh, Alf. I remember that show and cartoon and weird fairy tale cartoon.
Imagine if it was Alf versus the alien in the first one. Jones wouldn't be safe.
Oh, no! Jones! No, Alf, don't eat Jones!
That's how it would work.
Oh, no. I'm sad.
So
I just imagine Alf, like, trying to do stand-up comedy to, like, trick the aliens.
They'll just be like, we don't even want to infect you. Why would we want to add you to our gene pool?
Yeah, nobody wants you, Alf. On Melmac.
Ugh.
Remember
It's like
that
yes,
Elf
I do.
cartoon? There was one where they all kept losing their hair. You remember that?
No.
Why do I remember Alf more than you do?
Because I like better things.
I used to watch Alf a lot because I had it on a tape. Because my life was sad.
Moving on.
Hamza Juicer at Hamza Juicer suggested the alien from Attack the Block. I've never seen that movie.
It's got Mickey the Idiot in it, though, I think.
Doesn't it also have
Nick Frost.
and isn't the guy from Star Wars in it?
John
the new
Boyega?
one? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I want to see that movie, but yeah. So, I'm not sure how good of a choice that is yet, but we'll have to look into it. Billy Pollahan at B-Buster Bill suggested Superman. Superman is an alien.
And I'm just going to throw this out there. Worse than the psychic aliens from ID4, do you really want the chance, just even the chance, that they're going to get a hold of Superman and make a Kryptonian Xenomorph?
Yeah, that would be bad.
But, that aside.
Yes.
Yeah, he would just wreck face. Nolan Dean at Nolan Dean 27 says John Carpenter's The Thing.
Oh, that would be scary.
And that's super intense because if you really want to think about it, they do the same thing.
Yeah.
They assimilate and they add to and they make themselves more powerful from something. So yeah, that would be terrifying.
Langley M. Neely suggested Groot.
And that's possibly the best answer to me because how's the Xenomorph going to assimilate Groot?
Yeah, they wouldn't know what to do with him.
No, they'd be like, you don't have innards, man.
No.
This isn't cool, bro. And Groot's like, I am Groot.
I am Groot. And they're like,
attack you? And Groot's like, Groot. And then Travis Wilkowski at Travis of Marvel says Mac from Mac and Me or Groot. The Mac and Me one is back to my Alf answers.
Yeah.
I'm surprised nobody said Kleborg or, E.T. from E.T.
And then Jonathan Toast at John_Toast suggested Thanos.
That would be terrifying.
Yeah, I think Thanos would just wish them out of existence or something.
Well, that's assuming he has all the gems.
Yeah, I'm assuming he does.
If he doesn't, then he would just punch
Send Ronan or somebody.
And that's it for Twitter.
Yeah, so who would you pick to fight a Xenomorph?
I mean, like a single version of these alien species, like
whatever you want.
Green Lantern Corps.
Okay, they are aliens.
Yeah, and their whole purpose is policing the galaxy, and yeah, it would have to be the Green Lantern Corps. Secondary to that would be the Tau Empire from the Warhammer 40K series.
Okay.
Because they shoot from afar and they just obliterate things, or they add them for the greater good. What about yours?
Well, you made fun of my answer already. No.
E.T.
Yes, I think E.T. would be really hilarious.
I think Robot Chicken already did that, and I think Robot Chicken.
Did they do an Alien versus E.T. already?
I think so.
Oh man.
I don't think it went well for Kleborg.
In my version, it would be hilarious because I think E.T. is secretly a Jedi, and he can use all of his psychic powers to save himself.
No.
Why not?
The only thing that would happen is it would end the same way Alf would end it, except Jones would still be alive.
Well, that's good.
I guess you take the little things, huh?
Yes. I think E.T. versus a Xenomorph would end in E.T.'s favor. E.T. is awesome. And don't you ever say anything bad about E.T. again.
Oh, he's awesome. It's just not Xenomorph. No.
But anyway, my other answer for that, because you made fun of E.T., would be the Doctor. The War Doctor. He could get his revenge.
I was just say, we already know how that goes, dear.
That's a different person.
That's happened twice to him, technically.
Just because it's the same actor does not mean it's the same character.
Twice.
It's a different character.
It's happened twice. I don't think John Hurt wants to see those things ever again.
Well, I think the War Doctor would be most equipped to kill a Xenomorph.
I'm going to say that if any doctor is most equipped to deal with a Xenomorph, it's David Tennant's doctor, because we saw the rage he had when he obliterated an entire spider species.
I would definitely say 9 or 10 would be good choices to fight a Xenomorph.
I mean, Christopher Eccleston is more often a villain than a hero, so he has that darkness.
But yeah, so because you made fun of E.T., the Doctor is my real answer.
That's fair. Anyway, thank you for having us in your home.
Yes. If you think that we're going away just because fan friction is over, well, then you are mistaken.
We have a lot planned coming up with a little sub-version of the series we like to call the BFF Backlog.
Yeah, so we're going to go through things that we watched for the show, but we couldn't review because either the show didn't exist yet, or, there's only so much time in one episode to review things. But coming up in December's Backlog are all choices that I picked because it's my birthday month. My birthday's the 19th, so I'm excited for December's Backlog. All the episodes have a theme in common. Alright guys, you can follow both of us on Twitter. I am at @that_Mrs. Davis.
And I'm at Drake Masters.
Make sure that you follow the Tough channel so that you can be aware of any time we update our content or any of the other content gets updated, like a DVD Bunker, which is Brian's show, or when Tom and Kimber put up the highlights from Odd Shape Panel. Yeah, so lots of good stuff still coming your way. Just because fan friction's over doesn't mean that the content's all going to go away.
Fan friction will return.
Yes, fan friction will return in February. And then look at this little guy that we found. We got him from a loot crate. Like he's on our little
He's on the
hearth.
Yep, just chilling up there.
Yeah, we've named him Timothy. Look at him smiling. He just wants to be your friend. Just look at his little face.
He's so happy. He just wants to be your friend.
He just wants to be your friend.
Dang it.
Hi.
Gross.
Little Timothy. He just wants to be your friend.